Hello, welcome back. Oh my god, this spot actually echoes a lot. I didn't think about that. Too late. I've already settled in here, so I'm not moving. I thought this would be the, chillest little corner of the house. I should probably wash that off my arm a little. One sec. Here, I brought the beverage glass back for this. I'm not trying to whisper, it's just everyone's gone to bed, and I really, I feel like I'm being loud, even though I know I'm not. It's just, it's quiet, but I don't think that's a bad thing because of what I want to talk about today. I don't know where the motivation came from. I've not even been sure if I've wanted to do this for a long while. So I don't know, but life is weird. Why not? And this every oh wait, oh my god, let me arm one sec. I'll just good enough. Okay, so whatever, if I get chemical burns, we'll find out. Now I'm gonna drink the same water. There's a piece of tape there. Later problem. I feel like I can hear everything. And so even I feel like I shouldn't swallow right next that's what she said. Right next to the mic, The one thing about this spot of the basement is that if anyone comes down, I'm just gonna hear the door open and then I'm gonna throw the mask to the side because I don't feel like I look so crazy. But it doesn't matter. I really, whatever. Same thing with I was oh, should I change my shirt? No. I don't know how loud my coughs are, but if they're unbearable, maybe I can edit something in place of them. I'll figure that out. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, my shirt. I know that I was wearing this in a previous video, but I'm gonna be wearing it in many, many videos, probably. It's my TISM comfort shirt as of the last year and a half at least. I don't know, I like the material, I guess. I got it in a clearance box at I think a Hot Topic or a Spencer's. I can't remember which one. They blend together. But I lost my train of thought again. Oh yeah, but I was trying to say that sorry, that must have been so loud. It's we live in a modern world. We know laundry machines exist, even if we didn't, and we just had the internet, and I was making videos in a pre-laundry machine era. I'd be I wash my shirt, clothes are meant to be reused. I'm not gonna, that's not that's one of those things that feels like editing another layer of this that I don't really want to do. Because, one, it's another step that if I add a step to video making, like for example, a really big one is that I've, for whatever fucking reason, decided to wear these like the mask. These masks. What the? I've decided to wear the mask to like try to have a visual thing with this anonymity, and also like it's like, here, tangent side story, but it applies. I got new glasses, and when I went to pick them up, the guy at the store who was working there, he was wearing his glasses, and so I was like, he was like, do you need to like take out your contacts to like try on these glasses? And I was like, no, like it's the same prescription, but I just want to try them on for the fit to like adjust them. And so then I like tried them on or whatever, but then in relation to that, I joked to him and I was like, oh, like, do they not let you use contact, or do they not let you use contacts? It's so echoey here. I'm messing up my own little punchline, but it's because I can hear someone walking around upstairs. I really do need everyone to be asleep for the topic of today's video. So I'm just gonna embrace the fact that it's gonna be a slow, long one. I might have to break it up into chunks, but like, to the viewer, just keep in mind this whole exercise is like self-therapy. It's an exercise in life for me and it's for me too, it's not just for you and your entertainment, but that's like a bonus aspect and not a motivation, but I think the connection that I could have to people in relation to some of the tougher things in life, I've decided that in my life that's something I care about. it's not always what people expect of me. It very not often is, which sucked for a really, really long time, but I'm okay with it now, you know. I feel a lot of empathy for people who question why I am the way that I am, and particularly for people who see that I am the way that I am and like feel sorry for me and think that I'm having a bad time being me. I'm having a great time being me. I wish more people in my life as well could, and also just random people that like meet me, and sometimes I think they're a little taken aback depending on the circumstance, or maybe like an outfit or something, or maybe I'm acting extra butch that day, and like it throws some people off. Like, there's so many different kinds of people in the world that I've had interactions where like I, as a Indian American person, feel like the blackest person in the room, which is quite a statement that I'll explain in future videos, you know, like race related. Oh my god, I didn't mean to flip you off. It's so itchy, this mask. But maybe I'll just keep whispering. I don't know. Like, I didn't mean for this. I'm not trying to be an ASMR fucking person. It's like, it is what it is, you know? If the stomping upstairs stops at any point, I'll be louder again, but I don't want to keep waiting around for the perfect time to do these types of things, you know, especially because I've really enjoyed, like, seeing the passage of time, I think, while making these videos, like, seeing that, oh, like, this video I made was now how many ever weeks ago or a month ago. It's cool, because I think with the neurodivergence comes time blindness often, and I am a very time blind individual sometimes, despite the fact that I was raised by a very military dad-minded, like, that punctuality thing was like I have a lot of time anxiety. But I still somehow am not always on time to things, and it's a skill in progress, you know. It's a part of adulthood and being a person in life that, you know, you just get better at over time. And there was a time when I was very good at being on time and much more stressed out of a person. I am not that person anymore, and I think that's a net positive. So if that means I'm late occasionally, it's okay. A lot of the people who love me know that it's kind of one of those things that happens, and I know it's a thing that pisses some people off, but the thing is, a lot of times the way it works, how am I talking about this now? Whatever. The way that the like anxiety coping happens is like, the more I know someone would be pissed off at me, that usually leads to better planning, because my brain is screaming at me more to get my shit together for that thing. So yeah, I guess, my loved ones, this is your sign to be shittier to me, treat me worse, you know, no, just kidding. Please don't, I can't handle it. No, I'm good, I've had my quota. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, what was I talking about? Okay, Capri Sun, one sec. been seeing the Capri Suns in the house for like a while, and I've been wanting to have one, but then I just like never did. I don't know. Buzzing. Okay. More random people that could possibly see this are running through my head, and I hate it. I hate every second of the hell that is the Jiminy Cricket in my head sometimes. The stomping has stopped. Dare I speak up? I think I'll try to. Okay, so, whatever, I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. It started again. Whatever. Okay. There are a million and one things that I want to or could and eventually may talk about. But I think the main thing is I just want to go with the flow. I don't want to make it a high pressure thing. I just want it to be fun. Like, I really just want it to be chill and not, I don't know. I think you guys know what I mean. Like, I don't want it to become a productivity hustle thing, you know. Like, sometimes that there are ideas that I really want to get through, but that's different. Okay. So, bear with me. I don't know exactly which parts of what I'm about to discuss I want to discuss yet, you know, like, so I'm gonna keep figuring it out as I continue, and, like, it's gonna be a little weird, because I'm certainly in my head right now, and very, like, I'm overthinking this entire, like, oh, why am I doing this video, blah, 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 and I'm certainly paying attention to all the sounds upstairs, but we will figure it out, and thank the Lord Almighty for playback speeds, because you guys can use that. Gentle reminder. I think part of why I also, like, I'm not necessarily not a fast talker in real life too. Like, I yap. But I think sometimes with topics like this, like, I'd rather take my time and speak so slow that I sound like a drunkard sometimes than say something that either I have to edit out or, like, I want to take back years later. You know, like, it's part of what I'm trying to do is create something that gets to be out there forever, and I don't ever feel so shameful that I want to take it down, you know. But that involves considering a lot of things as the words are coming out my mouth. I could write a script, but sometimes I just don't wanna, you know, like, that's, I don't know. Sometimes I like to wing things. So, yeah. And like I said, a lot of the curiosity about this was more for me, for my partner, for my future family, friends. But yeah, I have very good memory and a lot of time blindness, which leads to a lot of confusing feelings throughout my life as I process things that have occurred, you know. And I think having some kind of a media to work with throughout my life would be a cool way to process life, So that's what I kind of, more on what I mean, right, about the for me. And yeah, I think that also somewhat protects the integrity of whatever I'm doing, That was like half a yawn. Okay. I think certainly one thing that I realize whenever I'm doing these is I always let myself speak as though I'm speaking to a younger audience and like people my age. And I say that's weird because people older than my age come to mind a lot, but I still allow myself to present the version of me that is compatible with like our generation. So I think that's interesting. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah. Okay. Now my brain is like, okay, so my brain's kind of going like, all right, we gotta really like get into it. We really have to like, say the shit that matters. And so my, like, everything became very like grounded for a sec. And then I was like, oh, too real, like, and then the anxiety hit again, but it's okay, whatever. So, long story short is I am depresso, have been for a long, long time, which I mentioned before, and a lot of people are, there's many reasons to be happy, but that doesn't change the chemicals in my brain and body, but it's every time I think about how do I want to explain myself and the things that I want to say or whatever, I get very conflicted about, like, do I say it more personally or do I say it more academically and sophisticated and professional or whatever. But the thing is, psychiatry, at least, I mean, granted, all of health, I think, is way too depersonalized now. But the benefit of some level of depersonalization is that you can protect, like, equality and standardization, I know what I'm trying to explain, but the words aren't quite coming to me. And I think my point is being depresso is one of those things that no matter what I do, when I talk about it, it's gonna be personal because it's my life. It affects my life. And you can say the same thing about every fucking health condition, in my opinion. But for this video, at least, it's personal depression, That's about it. I know I'm being very awkward about it, but in my defense, like, there's so many people that could see this from so many weird little corners of my life. And it doesn't matter in a sense because like, I guess maybe that's what I feel weird about, is that I know that no matter what, I'm still gonna do this, and now that I'm already doing it especially, I'm gonna see it through and post it. But I think it's weird that, like, this is where I'm at. This is what I've decided to do with my time. And it's also very cool. But I hope that maybe, you know, for some, yeah, it might just be entertainment, but maybe it'll help someone out there, you know. And I know, at least in my personal life, it'll be beneficial for me, for my partner. You know, yeah, okay. So, there are many parts to this story, I guess. But the parts that I am thinking of discussing, mostly for this video, I just want to stick to some things, some facts, some, like, outline topics for things that I'd want to do in some future videos as well. Like, I want to lay that out. Maybe I'm starting to get tired. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I've gotten so stressed out that I'm just tired now. Alright. Yeah, I think people being at home is getting to me more than I realize. Like, having to be quiet is getting to me more than I realized. Having to talk about this. I don't think it's a bad thing for me to have had to yap 28 fucking minutes to, like, piece this together, but it just sets the stage for future these things, so, you know. So I guess we can start with some facts then. So fact number 1, I have clinical depression. Period. It is diagnosed late in my life, but it is diagnosed. So if anyone wants to argue with me about that, shut up and talk to my psych. I don't know, like, see my medical records. HIPAA who? HIPAA is the laws for patient privacy. If that joke flew over your head, it wasn't necessarily a great one. Fact 2. There are many reasons one can be depressed. And there are many reasons why I am. Obviously, a big part of it is biochemical. So, fact number 3 is I am treated. I take medications. I have therapy. I've been to therapy before, so there's a lot of me being the person I am today has been the result of a lot of things, you know, and I've mentioned ADHD before, you know, but that's kind of, it's not separate, it's just, I know people have trouble understanding the gist of, like, what the fuck is mental health, you know, like, some people are like that, so, to not, like, encourage you in any way to take me less seriously, I'm just focusing on one aspect of this, but, yeah, there are many reasons, but I am treated. In terms of exactly how, what, when, where, why, I think I'm gonna save that for another video, because I think what might be cool is, since I am a medical student, maybe I will discuss some of the biochemistry of what I take, so I can explain it a little bit more, how it works, why it helps, and the truth is it does help, you know, so that could be fact number 4, which is, yeah, treatment, therapy, they've helped, you know, they haven't been perfect, and I've had certain, like, blips in both, like, routes that weren't effective or didn't work out and stuff, but that's part of life, trial and error with a lot of things. Edison fucked up his light bulb many, many, many times, according to the walls of my high school. And in truth, yes, he did. But I was just remembering it was a quote that was painted onto the walls about him failing like 1,000 times before he got it right, And for a lot of people, especially a lot of people with, like, I'm not going to say more severe, but I'll say more resistant or treatment resistant, because it's not like my depresso is not severe. It certainly has been. And more on that later, but I'm also not saying that it is the most hard to treat, I guess. Because it's the thing about depression is it's a clinical condition, but it's also a psychiatric one. So it blends into people's lives and mindsets and spirituality and emotions and day-to-day everything in a way that a broken toe might not, or even chronic gout as, like, a condition, which is, like, it's a condition that often can affect a toe. We'll just leave it at that. But imagine you have this, like, condition of your toe. It's going to affect your quality of life in a different way. It could lead to depression because it's been affecting your quality, but, like, it's different, like, the pathway of the way it affects your life. With clinical depression, it's a little bit more like you're missing some of the building blocks to do things the way everyone else is able to. And you could say that about a lot of conditions. Again, that's a very generic metaphor. But I get, that's not a bad thing that it's a generic metaphor. I'm being so loud for a second. Oh my God. But to feel a certain kind of not depressed, what that is, it's a lot. So, yeah, alright, I don't even know what number I was on. I think I was on 5 next, but I'm trying to think. I'll take a sip of this Capri Sun. Okay. Fact number 5, if that's the number where I was at. I have been on and off suicidal throughout my life. Not always actively, but more ideation. But on and off, on and off ideation, on and off active. I could not give you a perfect timeline of it all. I did not keep track of it, because who the fuck had the motivation to? And like I said, late in life, dealt with, partly because, fact number 6, I was late to treatment, partly because of mental health stigma. Ooh, what the fuck is that? Everyone throws that word around, but what is it? Well, you see, stigma is the word that people throw around when they're trying to talk about how people judge you when your brain isn't perfect, and perfectly cohesive with the world around you. So I've mentioned before that I'm Indian American, which means that I was raised with a lot of South Asian people in my life, and a lot of South Asian people are resistant to Western medicine and the field of psychiatry. That's a huge generalization, and it doesn't apply to everyone, but it is a little bit in a lot of the culture, you know, like people to people culture, not necessarily, not like it was written into much, really. It's not like people say, like, oh, like, it's religious. Like, some people will believe that it's, like, religious to not be treated with Western medicine or whatever, but it's not like Jehovah's Witness stuff, you know. It's a lot more, like, personal ego, like, I don't need that medication, I can do that with nature. And yes, you could, but you haven't, so here we are. And also, you can't for everything, you know. Something I think a lot of people forget with South Asians is many of us at least, have been somewhat selected for very good, like, insulin sensitivity, you know. And, I think I kind of said that backwards. It sort of, let me put it this way, many famine, many South Asians suffer, many die, many chunky survive. So chunky promote gene passed down. And what I mean by that is there are certain metabolic pathways that promote the holding on to more of your caloric intake. And a lot of South Asian people have more of those genes expressed to hold on to things, you know. And that's a lot of times what leads to those, you know, higher rates of diabetes, cholesterol, hypertension. So there's a lot of, like, health is so complicated, you know, politics, history, everything blends into it. It's not just medicine, you know, it's not just, like, fucking eugenics, you know. It's really complicated. And then it's also life, you know. Life is hard, and life throws many curveballs, and sometimes your brain takes a beating, and it doesn't quite bounce back the way some people's might. Or maybe it was also partly because the brain is kind of designed to not exactly bounce back, but change, you know. The brain is very cool, and there's a lot of things that I want to do related to talking about it and stuff, but I guess in terms of this context, it's just, yeah, my brain needs a little bit of help to not shit itself, and I do some pretty cool things with help, you know. I'm able to do a lot more, I think, with my life, and that's something to be happy about. So, to anyone that would want me to feel shame about that, like, bro, that's on you. I don't know. I'm all the more happier, and especially, like, pain-free. I didn't realize for a long time that, I guess, very much to do with stress, and also chemicals, because biochemically a lot of these same things overlap with, like, your pain sensations and stuff. So I'm one of those people where I'll walk around being like, oh yeah, I have a high pain tolerance, but, like, it's because I'm, like, always experiencing, like, a baseline level of a certain amount, and I thought that was normal, which is part of the problem. Like, I didn't know that that wasn't how people were supposed to exist, at least until they were, like, a lot older, you know, but that was because of stress, mainly, and pressure, and a lot of a concoction of fucking things, you know. But, like, even in the peak of my, like, physical youth, I just always was a super tense, like, yeah, I don't know, but there's a lot that I can share about these kinds of things, but everything in time, you know, and in a slightly organized fashion, too. I don't want to throw everything I've figured out about my own stress management all in 1 hour-long video because it would make absolutely no sense. You know, I'd just sound like a crazy person. But the truth is, I've figured out a lot of things along the way that help and could help someone else, and, you know, I think it's, I don't know, that's worth it enough to, like, take a little bit of time out of my day to, like, yap and have a Capri Sun and, you know, like, whatever. So, yeah. This shit slaps. This is the strawberry kiwi, by the way. I don't know if they're probably bad capitalism too, but I don't. Capri Sun is too nostalgic. I need to let myself have one every now and then, at least. So, I don't know what fact number I was on. I'm gonna pretend I was on 6, even though I think I was farther along. Let me check if the video is still going at this time, since we're at 42 minutes. 1 sec. Yeah, we're good. Okay. I'll probably start wrapping this up a little bit. So, these pants might have a hole, so I'm not gonna put my legs up. Okay. So, on and off stuff. But the height of it was approximately a year ago. I will not be sharing super specifics on timelines, you know, for privacy's sake, but approximately a year ago. And I ended up, there was a lot of things, events, timeline-wise, but I did go to a partial hospitalization program and an inpatient program. I fucking sped run the inpatient 72-hour-hold because I wanted to see my dad. And in hindsight, it teaches me a lot, I think, realizing how quickly I was able to just get myself out of what was a very safe place for me at the time. But things to learn, I guess. I don't know. Psych is an interest of mine, but so is PM&R right now, which is pain management and rehabilitation. I don't really know exactly which one I'm gonna pick, or like how, or what fucking combination of all sorts of shit that I want to do with my life now, but not now. Like, I've always wanted to do things. There's always been a billion things I wanted to do, but there's always been a billion things holding me down in like a emotional way, you know, so part of the process is working on all of that, right? But yeah, okay, so one of the things that I thought I could do with some of the videos is talk about some of the things I learned in the partial program. My inpatient experience was a little bit different from the partial program, but I have a lot of really good things to say about the partial program that I was a part of. You know, I, for a number of reasons, kind of, I don't want to say I chickened out, but I kind of situationally had to decide to not go inpatient initially. And so I did like 2 days of a 10-day partial program. And then after those 2 days, I was like, I need to check myself in for a little bit. And at the time, I didn't know how long that would be. But like I said, it ended up being literally just less than the 72-hour hold, because there was a brown doctor and he let me go because I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, I'm chill, I'm a med student, like I'm cool, you know. That just had a little, you know, oopsie. But yeah, And for the record, there was no attempt. It was the, like, ideation prior to attempt. You know. The fuck. Oh, damn it. I have to cut that now, because I said my name. One sec. I said my name by accident, so I had to cut that audio a little bit. I'm waving, so I can figure out where in the video I have to edit that. Yeah, but I keep trying to, like, get a little bit in the habit of just going, like, oh, Dari, you know? Like, whenever I'm used to saying my name to, like, myself, I don't know. But, yeah, I did want to clarify that for any concerned viewers. We chillin', no attempts ever, but I guess part of that has to do with the fact that they would have been very successful, you know? And I think that that's, like, I'm laughing about that, but truth is, it's something that living through, realizing that I am educated in a specific way where I kind of know a lot of stuff, you know? I don't know, it really makes me feel for the other people that have been on a similar life's journey like me, like medical students, you know, future doctors that took their lives, nurses, just all these, like, medical people that, you know, and it's not that it was med school that was the thing, you know, like, there's, like I said, life, biochemistry, there's so many factors, right? But I think, I don't know, just a moment for all the other bright kids out there that just didn't have that support that I had, I guess. If any of you have not seen the Bollywood movie 3 Idiots, I will put it in the description. I think it's a relevant recommendation for this video. I was just thinking about that during that little second of chill. I don't know. Especially post-COVID, like, I think about that, because I wasn't even in the workforce, you know? Like, there was enough on my plate that it wasn't my career that got to me. So, interesting. But, anyways, yeah. So I then returned after the inpatient to the partial program, and I completed that. And then I went back to school. Yeah. And life goes on, you know? So, much more to come on things later, you know? I think my philosophy right now is if I don't feel like I'd want it out there forever just yet, I'll hold on to it for a little bit longer until it bounces around like a pinball in my brain and heart a few more times, and then I can spew it out in a future video, you know? What's the fucking rush? Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I will show you my little partial notebook and kind of introduce that, maybe read one thing from it, and then I had, as a lighter kind of way to end this video, I found an old, I think my parents must have put it in my room at some point, maybe. Or did I? No, was it down here? I think I might have found it myself down in the basement a couple months ago. I'm not sure. but whatever. Point is, it's a little poetry book from like 2nd grade or 1st grade, and I vaguely do remember working on it, and I remember posing for the little picture of me that's on the cover. I remember sitting in the computer lab working on it. I remember thinking it was the shit, you know, like, and to be fair, for a 2nd grader or a 1st grader or whatever, some of them were like alright, you know. I don't know which ones, I don't remember, but I'll just read, I guess, one of those to publish me from when I was a kid. Like, she would never have saw that coming, and I think about that, and like I'm just like imagining telling like just that bomb, like, sounds upstairs, yeah, sorry, okay, just that like bomb of a statement to like time travel back to little me and be like, oh yeah, you know that poetry book, yeah, I'm reading those on the internet. And she'd be like, what? Oh my god, no way. So, yeah. She doesn't need to know the context. I don't know. But, okay, yeah, so book and other book. Shall we? The blanket wasn't moved, but I am a little toasty now. Okay. So this is the notebook, and it's a little mini notebook that actually, so I wrote a letter after I checked myself in from the ER while I was waiting for a room to the other people in my group at the partial program, and there was a woman who had joined like after, like, I had checked myself in inpatient, like she had joined the partial program, so she was there the day when that letter had been read, and then she was there the day that I had returned to the partial program after inpatient, and so she had an extra notebook, and she gave me this notebook, which I thought was just a gay little factoid to add, but, yeah, okay, so, let's see, Peanut Butter Waffle Song, I believe it was, like, the artist was bipolar. That's a recommendation that someone had given, so Peanut Butter Waffle Song, I'll put it in the description as well. Yeah, it was one that like the whole group was talking about, and also watching Where the Red Fern Grows. I actually never got around to that one yet, but I think it's like a dog movie that can make you cry really good. I probably won't link that one because it's not as like, maybe I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I feel like I can't recommend it, but it was listed here. So once again, that was Where the Red Fern Grows, if you want a dog movie to cry to. That was what it was. Okay. Yeah, so let's start with this. The 3 musts. This was the first thing that I had written down as like a educational thing to think about in relation to psychotherapy and blah blah blah, you know. So the concept here, and this is by Albert, that's all I have, Albert. I know he had another part to his name, but I don't have it, and I'm not looking it up. The 3 musts in life. 1. I must do well and win the approval of others. 2. Other people must treat me kindly, fairly, and exactly how I want to be treated, or else they are no good. And 3. My life must be easy, convenient, and without discomfort. These are 3 assumptions that people make. They are must statements, basically. And they're things that people assume have to be hard and true in ha ha ha, I said hard, shut the fuck up. Hard and true in life. And it screws up your quality of life to make that assumption and not realize that you are, So let's go back through them now that I've explained that. I just wanted to read them so that you could have your initial reaction of, the fuck? Wait, or maybe you do agree with that, maybe you do think that. In which case, ooh, got you. I hear really loud rumbling. Maybe someone's pulling into the garage. Sounds like fucking War of the Worlds, which is terrifying because when I was 4, I tell this story to everyone because I think it's like a good introduction to the kind of woman my mom is. She's amazing, but she's something. When I was 4, she showed me War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise movie, to teach me survival skills, and then I had nightmares for years after, because I was obsessed with aliens too. I thought that was super cool, and space things and stuff, right? So maybe that's where that came from, was just the mild PTSD from watching that, because I remember vividly as a kid watching the scene where the nerve thingies start crawling over everything, looking for blood and shit. That freaked me out, which is now I don't think anything of it because I'm a grown adult person that has seen med school dissections and gory movies and stuff, but that was quite the visualization, and I guess I couldn't handle it. that was funny. That's what that sounded like. Anyways, God, I'm all over the place sometimes, but all the time, must be real. Okay. There was a thought I had while I was saying that too, and then I forgot it, which kind of sucks, but oh well. Alright. So, that first must, right? Oh, yeah, I think I was trying to say that, I wanted you to have that experience of hearing the must. No, I already said that. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. Okay, I must do well and win the approval of others. So do you think that? It's a good place to start, is do you think that of yourself, And a lot of us are people pleasers. I know I am. I still definitely, I think the thing that's changed with me is I come at a lot of people-pleasing type behaviors, but from a place of wanting to be kind to fellow human beings instead of people-pleasing now, which I think is on character growth, But yeah, I used to be quite the people-pleaser, and I still can be. Not saying that's completely fixed, but, working on it. So yeah, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to do perfect things. I don't have to win the approval of everyone, It's just reminding me of this episode of Good Luck Charlie from a Disney show where one of the characters is appalled that a teacher would think ill of her, and it was the first time that she'd encountered as a growing teenager a person of authority who didn't care for her, and that's something that it scares a lot of people, but we're oftentimes thrown into situations and jobs and things where there's someone who is higher up on the hierarchy totem pole than us, and that can't be the make or break for your own personal self-esteem and self-worth and confidence, So yeah, we shall work on it together, shall we? So let's change that statement. Instead of I must do well and win the approval of others, it's I do not need to do perfectly, and I do not need to win the approval of others. I guess my little addition to that would be I can do my best, and if people are content with that and understand that I am trying my best out of love and kindness and my best efforts, then cool. If not, alright. Can't do nothing about that. Alright, so that second one was other people must treat me kindly, fairly, and exactly how I want to be treated, or else they are no good. So that's the assumption that everyone else has to, like, be perfect to you. Otherwise, they're not useful to you in your own life, you know? And the thing is, like, people live and react and do things based off of the personalities that they've built up over a lifetime of their own shit, you know? So you can't expect everyone to go about life and treating people and then consequently treating you the way that, you know, is perfect for you in your ideal interaction. And I think this is something that a lot of people get screwed up on in the modern Western world, because everyone's like, oh my god, like, me first, me first. It's like, relationships are two-sided, you know? Not just, like, romantic relationships, I mean, like, people relationships. And you have to try your best to see things from the life of the other person, you know? They've lived a different experience than you, they're gonna be a different person, and they're gonna respond to things and act differently, and, you know, as long as they're not, well, too much, I guess, take that as you will, then, you know, that's not a bad thing all the time, and people take it as such a, like, personal thing, that someone's different from you. But, you know, I think it's a lot more freeing to try to love the differences in people, you know. I love to see the ways people are different from me, and I, like, enjoy learning from their, you know, methods and stuff in life, right? So this is really starting to get itchy. I'm gonna shut up soon. Let's wrap this up. I don't think I need to explain that one a lot more. The point is, like, you can be doing your best, but not everyone's gonna be their best to you, and you can't be jaded about that shit. Like, there is no point. But what you can do is have patience, you know, and just try to see the best in people, even when they're not on their best behavior. I think that makes life a lot brighter, you know. So, alright, we're gonna change that statement up a bit. So, other people don't have to treat me kindly and fairly and exactly how I want to be treated. They're still good. They're still people. They're still worth loving and being loved and at least being seen and existing. They're still allowed to, even if they're not perfect. I don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be perfect. And I'm not the one responsible to change the people around me, but I am allowed to take up space in their lives, right? And life happens when we take up space. Alright, third one. My life must be easy, convenient, and without discomfort. Oh, this is such a big one for, like, the real bratty ones out there. The real spoiled ones. Yeah, life is hard. I think this is a good one for everyone to kind of, like, think about as we get older, because young adults transition into a lot more independence, you know, and some people aren't used to it. I feel like I've been a hyper-independent person in a lot of ways, and then not in some ways, you know, like, I used to be very categorized, I don't know, I'd dissect up my life into, like, the emotional bits and the school and extracurriculars, and everything was, it had to be kept, like, tidy in my head and in my mind and cut and clean and dry. And the second it got more unpredictable, I guess, or not quite, like, I don't know, not quite what I was told to expect, especially by my primary authority figures, like my parents, you know, that's what would throw me off, right? A lot of growing up is endless paradigm shifts, and that's part of life, you know. But paradigm shifts come with access to new things on the other side of it, access to new ideas, to new beliefs, to new experiences, new people, new hobbies, new art, right? So hardship is not a bad thing. It's just part of life, and it comes and goes, and depending on how you frame it in your mind, it's not going to be the end of the world. But that burden is on you and how you frame it, you know? I mean, a stubbed toe could be the end of the world to the right person. So, alright. Let's change that statement and then we can wrap up this video. My life doesn't have to be easy, doesn't have to be convenient, and it doesn't have to be without discomfort. It can be hard. It can still be beautiful and hard. That's what she said. That is such a perfect way to end this. That is... Oh, fuck, no, I said I was gonna fucking read a poem. Okay, I'll read a poem. That would have been a great way to end this, but this might be a better way. I can't show you the front because it's like actual picture of me, but this is the actual page for your eyes. I'm just gonna hold it there for like 2 seconds. Good enough. Alright. It's called Babies. Fan-fucking-tastic. You know what? That's honestly, this is a great way to end the video. You know why? Because babies are like, for me, they are antidepressant. Like kids, and I mean, I fucking love my job right now. I know it's not the like the end all be all, but it's definitely something I've always wanted to try to get trained in, like some kind of art therapy type of thing. But it's really, education is expensive and time taking, you know, so there's so many things that I want to do that I just kind of gotta chill and do them a little bit, you know. But babies and kids, they're just trying their best. They only know what they know. They don't know any more than what they don't know, you know, like, I think it's really humbling to speak to younger people, younger kids, and remember what it's like to be a person who's so new to the world. And, you know, like, I feel like a fucking middle-aged, like, grandma sometimes when I talk like this, but middle-aged grandma, yeah, whatever. But it's true, like, in full truth and honesty, it's really beautiful to be saying that, like, if I, not, like, bittersweet beautiful, you know what I mean? Like, whatever, fucking, you don't need the perfect words, you know what I mean? To still be here, like, approximately a year later, basically, to know I'm gonna be here fucking forever because I'm fighting the good fight, and, like, I'm not, you're not getting me to quit that easy. No, I got too much shit I want to do and too many things I want to fuck up, so can't leave just yet, right? Too many people worth fighting for. But yeah, it's also really nice to remind myself that outside of my loved ones, there is this future generation who's being handed just as shitty a fucking world, if not shittier, and they deserve so much better. You know, like, I see those kids and I feel like, yeah, like, I can get through whatever so that I can try to make my little contribution to making the world a little bit better, you know. I don't know, but babies, shall we read my little poem? Babies all around you, happy, happy, in their cribs, being super diaper babies. Just so cute. Gurgling and changing diapers, drinking milk and running all around the house. Babies. The end. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I was on, but clearly it was the good stuff. No, it's cute. It's cute. I was the baby, little did I know. But it reminds me of, and I thought about wanting to mention this in some video, so I guess it's now. I'll leave you with this, which is when I was in first grade, I remember getting told off, and I don't remember exactly how I was told off. I don't remember the experience of getting yelled at and stuff. I just know I was, and I remember, sitting in the playground trying to, get my shit together again, and I was like, man, I want to remember this moment forever, because I don't ever want to be an adult, be a grown-up, and not think that kids are not real people, with real feelings and an experience. I told myself I wanted to hold on to the feeling of being in my body, that little body at that moment, and feeling so fucking vulnerable, and knowing that I was alive, and I existed, and I was conscious, and someone didn't give a shit. But I did. I gave more of a shit about myself in that moment that I did when I was struggling last year, and any other time in my fucking life, and that little girl did a fan-fucking-tastic job of cementing that shit into my head, because it is there. It is still there, and I think about it, maybe once a week. I don't know, because especially as a grown-up that now works with younger people, I'm so proud to have been that kid, and I'm proud to be a person today that gives a shit about the realities of every little kid that I'm working with, because they deserve that, and I'm sorry that so many kids in the world get so much less than what they deserve, especially now in yet another time of ridiculously unnecessary war. Fucking free Palestine. Period. Come after me, I don't fucking care. I mean, the fact that I, sit on the shitter and I'll be like, oh, funny video, scroll, and then it's that ad of the boy going, we don't have any food, and he's fucking putting sand in his mouth, and it's, and then, scroll on, and it's like an ad. It's an ad to support ending hunger that could currently be addressed by the most spoiled brats of the world. I mean, it's such a... people yell and scream about it all the time. I'm not yelling, I'm not screaming. I'm just sitting here going, really? Have you no shame to have so much and do so little for those that inhabit the same beautiful, bountiful world? That's crazy, but I want to do better than that. I want my future family to learn how to be a part of this world in a way that isn't so cocky, I myself am learning, it's a process, but yeah, I am excited for life. I have a lot more tools in my pocket, a lot more support systems in place and sturdy, I'm not the same person I was a year ago, approximately. So I don't know. Yeah, and I will say, like, I put off making this video, I think, once I'd hit that 1 year mark a little while ago. Whenever that was. I'm not telling you, but... And maybe I will at some point. I'd honestly, like, that's the thing, is I'm saying all this shit, and then tomorrow I might fucking drop a video that lists the dates, you know, like, chronologically. I don't know, but all I know is, you know, this person who wrote this poem was not the same person that I am today, but we are connected through this body and time and our consciousness and loved ones. So I owe it to myself and this person to try my best and keep doing me, you know? But yeah, that's where I'm gonna leave this at. Babies, think of them. It does you good. Alright. I will finish this Capri Sun and lay down and stare at this for a little bit. But I'm gonna turn off the audio here. I guess I can leave the video running for a little bit, but I just wanna chill for a second, process that I successfully recorded over an hour's worth of trying. Just trying. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.